And here we go. I have high energy. I'm really going to bring it today. I've been just full disclosure. I've been struggling a little bit, so I'm trying to get my energy going. It's been a long day. We're shooting this much later than we normally do.
Yeah, we are. And it's been really gloomy in Austin again, which is surprising because it's normally so nice and sunny here. So I think it's really affecting our mood. But I'm actually in a pretty good mood today. Well, besides you telling me how to have my mic correctly before we came.
I have OCD and your mic was like a little bit to the left.
I know.
All you need to do is just straighten it just a bit.
I know, but this is my podcast space.
And I respect your side of the podcast, but I just want to let you know that if I didn't mention it, it was going to bother me and it might affect my flow of conversation. So that's why I did it selfishly for me.
I get it. All right. So is it look good? Are you feel good about it?
You look great. Okay. I'm excited. Let's get into it. I want to start off with something that I'm grateful for. Okay. You know, I like to start off some of these podcasts with
the gratitude.
I'm grateful for that I don't have a teenager that is reckless and does stupid things. Are you grateful for that?
Yeah, I'm grateful for that all the time. First of all, because we were both probably, I mean, every teenager is, right? Like not.
Of course. We've all been there and done stupid things. I'm just happy that I don't have to relive it again with this kid.
So many of our friends have teenagers. So I get these, I mean, you might not get them as much as I do, but I get the teenage stories like one after one after another. So yeah, I'm very familiar with this whole phase and how stressful it is to have a teenager.
Yeah, and let me bring up why this came to mind. I was on the internet, I was looking at news stories or whatever, and apparently in Florida, there's this thing called the Boca Bash where a bunch of people take out boats and party on the ocean, right? That's fine. But someone captured video of one of the boats of 18 people on the boats. Some of them were teenagers. Some of them were adults, actually. And the video is them standing on the back of the boat, taking a huge garbage can full of empty beer cans and trash and everything, and just literally hurling it over into the ocean on the side of the boat. And I thought, if that was my kid that was doing that, the problem and the issues and the embarrassment that I would have.
Oh my God. I would.
Are just through the roof.
I would be that mom that everyone's embarrassed of that would go pick up the kid from jail or wherever they are and just grab them by the ear and drag them outside of the place because I would just be so upset at this behavior.
It was insane. I mean, there was like a pile of garbage behind the boat, just waiting behind them. And just, it was like, are you kidding me? And there's a bunch of people around. You don't think someone's going to take notice? They were arrested, by the way. All 18 of them were arrested. Good.
Yeah. I mean, you know the story. I had a friend of mine, I believe it was last summer, just tell me a story. Very similar, nothing to do with the garbage, but just with her teenager in the middle of the night, getting the phone call, 3:00 in the morning. She has to drive out because there's a whole situation going on with cops getting involved and just a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, very scary. And I agree with you. I am so grateful that that is not something that we need to worry about, which is interesting. And it goes with today's topic where we're going to talk about this question that we get all the time. And you and I actually got this question. We were at a bar, we met another couple, and the other couple had kids, and we were just chatting along. And all of a sudden, the woman says to us, I just have to ask, what do you do with all your free time?
Oh, we get that so much. It's crazy.
Yeah. And we get that all the time. And people just assume, they're like, what do child people do? What do child free people do? What do they do? What do they do? So I'm not even going to start getting into it now because there's so much to say, but that's what we're going to be talking about today.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
We're a lot busier than most people think. I'll say that. We'll get into it.
To say the least.
We'll get into it. But I do want to bring up a couple things that we've been up to. We went to Nate Bargatze, and I'm not a big fan. And you asked for this for your birthday. And I want to thank you for asking for it because
tickets, and he's a comedian. Yeah, in case people don't know.
Sorry. Yeah. Nate Bargatze is a comedian, and he's very funny. And now I'm a huge Nate Bargatze fan.
Hilarious.
I'm like watching other Netflix specials he's done. I mean, I know I'm in the minority here because a lot of people think he's funny.
Yeah.
But how tight his set was and how it was like rapid fire jokes over and over. I mean, I was laughing the whole time.
Yeah. I mean, it was incredible. He was so, so funny. I would definitely go see him again. If you never heard of him, definitely check him out. And if you're thinking about going to see him, just go because it was a fun
Yeah.
night. I was really glad that we did. It was such a good time.
Yeah. And then doubling down on the fun, we recently went to a small town with our friends.
Yes. Yes.
And that's the great thing about Texas. We can explore these small little towns. We feel like we're not even in Austin.
Right. And it's
And
close.
yeah, and it was like 20 minutes away, and you
Mhm.
would think you're 100 miles away.
It's
It's
really
crazy.
weird to me, especially as a New York City girl, to travel such a short distance and really feel like you're in the middle of nowhere with this tiny little
I know. I
town.
love it. I love it.
I mean, I love it too, but it's just so it's weird to me. It's hard for me to imagine, coming from New York City and having that experience, but the town was adorable. Our friends were staying there for the weekend, so we went to go meet up with them. And it just reminded us of how fun it is to just get up and go and be spontaneous and say, "Yeah, we'll meet you." Because I think they were a little bit nervous about asking us because they didn't know if we were going to want to go to some random town to meet up with them. And I was like, "Yes, I want to. I love it. I love doing
I was
that."
too.
Yeah, we
I
both
was
were.
on
We were
board.
both on
Yeah.
board. We got in the car and we went. So, yeah, it's just amazing to be able to do stuff like that all the time.
So you've been a city girl, right? You've lived in
Yes.
New York. You now live in Austin.
Yes.
Could you ever see yourself living in a town where I think there's only 16,000 people in town, which might be big
That's
for a lot of
big.
people.
Yeah,
I
that's
know.
not
I know.
really a
I'm
small
just,
town. Yeah. Yeah.
but it feels very small.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean,
I
you could
looked up the
have
population.
Oh, is that what it is?
It's
16,000 people?
16,000. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So, I mean, it feels so tiny. So I guess that's not
Well,
really
if
that big. Yeah, it depends on what you're comparing it to. Could I ever live in a place like that? I think I could because I am at the point where I'm willing to try whatever. I think when I was younger, because of societal expectations and because of you're supposed to do life in a certain way,
Mhm.
it was very much like back in the day. I remember you had a job, you were supposed to hold on to it and get that 30, 40, 50-year corny prize at the end, the gold watch or the knife set.
Yeah.
Some people
Yeah.
might not even know what we're talking about, but that's really what it was like. And it was the same thing as far as purchasing a home. You moved and you were there to raise the kids. You saw your kids grow up, your grandkids came to visit. And I don't feel that way at all. I don't feel attached. Since we moved from New York to Austin, I no longer feel attached to a place. I am very open to trying something new because I know that it doesn't have to be forever.
I'm shocked.
You are?
Yeah, I
Why?
mean, I'm not shocked at what you're saying as far as taking some chances and
Yeah.
moving to different places.
Yeah.
But the fact that you could live in a small town
Yeah.
where there's really only, after a month or two, you pretty much are going to go to every store from what
A
we saw.
month or two, a day, a weekend.
Yeah,
I think we
that's
we
true.
did go to
I mean,
every store.
I think we did. The 2 hours we were there, or the
The
4
main
hours.
street is, I think, 2 blocks, 3 blocks. So no,
So
I mean, I
that's
would
why I'm
definitely
shocked. I get that you want to try newer things. We have the freedom as child-free people to
Yeah.
go and like we want to go be expats or whatever we want to do.
Right.
We can do it.
Mhm.
But the
I
fact that
could explain
you
it.
won't get bored.
No, see, here's the thing with me, and I thought about this a lot. And you know that I'm an extrovert, and we'll talk about boredom too. And I'll explain it now, but this is also part of our topic about what we do all day. For me, it's more about people than options of places to go. So let's say I only have 5 places to choose from as far as going out, but I have a little group of people, and it doesn't have to be a large group of people, right? I have 3 or 4 or 5 friends that I regularly hang out with. I prefer that over living in a giant city with all these options and really just being close to like 1 or 2 people who may or may not be around. So for me, it's more entertaining to have people than be in a big city. But having said that, if we moved to a small town in the middle of Texas, we wouldn't know anybody. So that would definitely concern me and, set off my alarms a little bit. But I think for me, it's about people because if you really think about it, we go to the same places a lot. Like we have our favorite top 5 spots that we hit. So I don't know. Would it be any different?
Yeah, for me it's different. I have to feel like I'm close to a lot of options.
Yeah.
Even
Yeah.
if I don't take advantage of them, I
Right.
feel like I need to have that. And
Right.
I never do. I just
Right.
want to be able to say if I get really, really bored today, and I
Yes.
know we're going to get talking about that a little bit, but
Yeah.
if I get really bored today,
You have
I can
options.
go to the Cidercade and play
Mhm.
video games. I can go and do this. I have a plethora. I'm going to use that word. That's a weird word, but I'm going to throw it out there. A plethora of options
Right. Right.
of things I can go and do at a
Yeah,
given moment.
I get it. I think I probably to an extent feel that way too. But if you did want to move to a small town in Texas, I'd be willing to try it for a year and see how it goes.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's some breaking news to me. I thought for sure you'd be like no go on that.
I
But I
mean, if
mean,
you asked Veronica a few years ago, the answer would have been a hard no. But if also you asked Veronica from 10, 15, 20 years ago if she would be living in Texas, she would tell you hell no. So I'm a little bit more open minded now as far as wherever the hell life is taking
look at
me.
all this growth. I'm loving
Right?
this. Yeah, you've opened your mind to everything.
Speaking of community, I wanted to bring up our membership community because we had such an amazing health and wellness month. It went so, so well. We have so many things going on in there. We had, again, 2 more community members. One of our members from Minnesota flew to New York and she ended up staying with our other member who lives in New York. They got together and have been hanging out. And we see this more and more. And it gets me so excited because as child-free people, we do have the option at times to travel. And it's so much fun to travel and know people in the country or in the city that you're traveling to. So that's super exciting. And also, just a little shout out to Mar, who is our health and wellness captain, who did an amazing job at leading us through challenges this month. It's been just a really fun experience. And yeah, I'm really just loving it.
And speaking of acknowledging people in the community, I want to mention Matt, who's in our community,
Mm-hmm.
who started off going to the gym 3 days a week and now he's up to 4, which has
Inspiration.
inspired me. And I'm about to hit my 4th day this week.
Yeah.
I got to do it before Saturday, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, I do love a little group motivation. I think it's important to have it. The community offers it.
Yes.
And like I said before, health and wellness is my favorite month. You know, I'm big into health and wellness lately.
But anyway, if you're interested in joining our membership community, we're having a lot of fun in there. And also, after our meetup the other day, one of our members, Hannah, posted, I always feel so energized after our meetups. I am constantly grateful for this community and the amazingly open people that are part of it. Rachel said, this was my first meetup and I'm so happy I found this community. I feel so seen and heard. Thank you all. Carrie said, me too. This is an amazing community. I'm so grateful. And it went on. And it was just really nice and sweet to
The
hear.
love.
And
the love.
yeah, we have so much love. We're so obsessed. So yeah, the childfreeconnection.com. Definitely check it out if you want to be a part
And
of
just
that.
to clarify, the meetups are a call within the community twice a month. And yeah,
they're so much
it's just so much fun.
Yeah.
They're great. All right. So let's get into it. What do child-free people do with their time? This one can be fun. It can be complicated. It can be obvious. It can be not so obvious for people.
I know. I
It,
do.
it also it also varies, right? It's very dependent on the person, where they live, geography wise, their relationship status. I mean, there's so many variables that go into it, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, there are. But before we get into exactly what we're doing all day, I think it's important to know why this question even comes up because it's just so freaking bizarre to me that people ask us this. Like, what do we do all day? Because we have nothing else to do if we don't have kids. And I think that oftentimes this question stems from fear because people are really scared of being alone and people are really scared of feeling bored and that get pushed into society to the point where if you're not I think that this blends into the whole hustle culture that you have to be doing something with your time 24/7. If not, you're not doing life right. So people assume if you're not with the kids, picking them up, dropping them off, taking them here, taking them there, doing something with them, helping them with homework, cooking them dinner, then what happens after that? What happens with this extra time? It's almost like, oh my God, you have extra time. Like, what are you possibly going to do with it? So it's really interesting that this fear of loneliness in isolation translates to what can we possibly be doing with our time? Does that make sense?
It does. And it asks a broader question. Most of those questions come from parents, obviously, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Or the child free curious, as I call them,
Yeah, I mean, mostly from parents because here's the thing. When you have a built-in little tribe with your family, let's say you have a kid or two kids, there's three of you, there's four of you, 10 of you, whatever it is, you have that for so long. So you can't really imagine doing life without your little mini tribe. Whereas child-free people can imagine because even though you and I are in a relationship, we both are very independent as well and we do our own thing. So maybe you're traveling, you're not around for a week or two or three. Maybe I'm traveling, I'm not around. So the idea of being alone doesn't bring the sense of panic and fear because we know what it's like. We know what it's
well,
like to be alone. It's not terrifying.
knowing that a lot of this comes from parents, what I'm confused about
Mhm.
is I'm surprised that parents aren't sitting around and thinking of all the things that they'll be doing if they didn't have kids. And they'd be like, oh, that's fun. So
Right,
for them to say, what are you doing with your time? You
right,
know what we're doing with our time. We're doing all the things that you can't, not to sound rude,
right,
because they have responsibilities.
right,
So
right.
that to me, it brings a lot of confusion to that question. And that's why I brought it up. Like, this is a very complicated question. But again, it comes back to what you're saying. I think that you know what's in front of you.
Mhm.
And if you are just used to taking care of children and your life revolving around children, it's hard to imagine
Right.
someone being able to conjure up an agenda for the day or for the week or for the year on things that they can fill their time with. And that is a whole different type of conversation.
Right, exactly. And also this idea of aren't you going to be bored? Aren't you going to be lonely? What are you going to do is used as a weapon, right? It's weaponized against the child free choice or against child free life, especially like you brought up earlier, people that are in indecision, people that are in the discovery or exploratory process of seeing if this life is for them. They also might be getting this question, well, if you don't have kids, then what could you possibly do? And to
Right.
your point, we actually, in our last meetup with our community, we brought this up and they did agree that they've gotten this question as well. And there was just so much to do. So many of us are really involved in personal hobbies and passions and activities. And at the same time, there's really nothing wrong with doing nothing. I don't know about you, but I feel like we are so busy all the time. I'm actually overwhelmed most
I
of
am
the
too.
time. Like,
Yeah.
I would welcome a day where there's nothing to do. I would welcome a weekend when there's absolutely nothing to do, but I can't even think of the last time that that happened. Can you?
No, I mean, I welcome just like 5 minutes after the end of the day of just being a little bored. Like we are talking about boring
Yeah.
being an issue, but I'm going to say that from now on to
Yeah.
you. If you're like, what are you up to? I'm gonna be like, I'm right now just enjoying life and being bored. So just leave me alone. But really
Right.
going back to the whole question about what do we do with our time, it really
Mhm.
backs into the fact that look, what's relative to us is our circumstances and our situation, whatever that might be.
Right.
So you have to understand that you're going to fulfill your day to day with what's in front of you. And
Right.
there isn't any kind of set layout on like what we should or shouldn't be doing. I know
Right.
we child free people can be criticized a lot of the time that
Mhm.
you should be filling your day up with taking care of kids and bringing up these humans to be good people in the world and so on and so forth. In my opinion, it's unfair to really judge other people on
Right.
what they're spending their time with because it always comes back to what situation they're in. And that, again, I brought up geography earlier because it really depends on where you live, what's around you. Some people live in rural areas where the closest thing to do is 50 miles away. You know what I
But
mean?
that's not true because somebody can just sit home and read a book, right?
Well,
You can hop
yeah.
online. I think you're thinking about like activities or really cool
No,
places to go, but you could live in the middle of nowhere and just you can sew, you can, do
no,
it.
no, no, no. You're misunderstanding. I'm
Okay.
just saying it, whatever situation you're in,
Yeah.
geography wise, financial wise, relationship wise, you're going to create an experience for yourself
Right.
no matter what it is.
Right.
Right. You're right. Whether it's, reading a book, you're just eliminating the raising children factor.
Right. And
So
it's also interesting because people forget about the basics that take up so much time, like cooking, cleaning, organizing, decluttering, grocery shopping, like just the same things that people with kids do. And maybe the difference is that when you and I go to Whole Foods or Trader Joe's, it could be an experience. We don't have to schedule it in. Anyway, to your point, it just depends. It depends how we want to do it. But it's really confusing why people are so mystified by this use of our time. And also, by the way, there's nothing wrong with not doing much, right? There's really nothing wrong with cuddling up with your pet, laying on the couch, relaxing, decompressing, trying to breathe. But yeah, it just seems
do
like
you
not a
think
good enough answer for some people.
do you think maybe because money plays into it, and let me explain.
Hmm.
So maybe they think that, oh, you don't have these responsibilities. You probably have a lot of extra money because you're not spending it on children.
Hmm.
Because I hear that a lot. I
Yeah,
mean,
of course.
every friend I have is like,
Yeah.
I'm spending my money on kids. So maybe they're thinking, what do you do with your time in a positive way with all this extra money, which is not true, by the way. That's another
Yeah.
total false
Hmm.
assumption. With all this extra money, maybe they're curious, are you living this glamorous travel everywhere life? And maybe they want to hear about it. Maybe that's the disconnect. Or do you think it's more negative based in the sense of like, well, if you don't have kids, you must be bored, and I don't know what you even do with your time. Because we
Right.
could list the way what we do with our time, of
Right.
course.
The only way that I have received it is in a negative way. Not really so much. You had to
Interesting.
put the little attitude in that example, but not really.
What do you mean? What did I miss
No,
that?
because you were like, like it. I don't. I just think it's people being the way that I've experienced is people just saying, "What do you do with your time?" In a confusion, in a state of confusion. Now
Wow, that's fascinating to me.
yeah.
They're so confused
Hmm.
because their
Yeah.
life completely revolves around their children. I
Yeah.
get that. But for them to not understand how, as a human being, you're going to cultivate a happy, healthy, busy life without that is a real confusing factor for me. I
Well,
just get lost in that.
Well, I think that it's probably more confusing for you because you're a man too, because this comes up a lot
Ooh, explain.
with the women in my program,
Oh,
because
talk to me
this
about that.
is interwoven and interconnected with a sense of responsibility, a sense of maturity, meaning that if you're a mom, right? So you have all these responsibilities and sense of maturity, people say, because you're dealing with the kids. And
Perceived sense of maturity. I mean, child-free
exactly.
people are
Right.
mature too. It's just that,
Exactly. So it's really important for women to sort this out. What's real, what's not, what we've been conditioned to believe, what perinatalist society says. So, and by the way, the doors to, I'm going to sink this in because it's really important. The doors to my
no, please
program
do.
is Childfree for Me, the essential guide to exploring child-free life, are open for just a week before I start my next session. I am finishing on Sunday with this class that I'm doing now, and it's been incredible, amazing. I'm just so happy. My heart is full. And if anyone's interested, it's childfreeforme.com, and we'll chat and we'll take it from there. But
By the way,
yeah.
I will say, if Veronica wants me to cry, she'll read me some of these comments that people are making. And I'm not saying this to be, I'm biased, obviously, but you'd read me these genuine comments and I start to, like, I'm getting emotional right now. I mean, it's just because they've just been through so much and they've struggled.
I
And for them
know.
to find clarity and to see someone become a different person,
I know.
it's very emotional to me because we believe in this community so much, and a big part of it is supporting those who need it. I really thought about it this morning. Like, what do I do with my time? And we are gifted with this extra time,
Yeah.
so we should be taking advantage of it.
Right.
And if you haven't done so, I urge anyone to list 5 things that you're passionate about or 5 things that you want to work on.
Mhm.
Write them down
Yeah.
and just come up with a plan to address it, because you owe it to yourself.
Mhm.
You truly do, as a child free person. You have a gift of time,
Not
extra
everybody,
time.
but a lot of
Not
child free people.
everyone. You're
Yes.
right. Thank you for
Yeah.
correcting me.
Just
You
to
always
clarify,
do.
because some people are caretaking a sick parent or a
You're right.
sibling.
But I still think it holds true
Yeah.
that you owe it to yourself to find the time
I
when you
agree.
can. And what I focus on the most is my health, my mental wellness, and really exploring that and growing. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
this is what, if I had to put it at the top,
Mm-hmm.
this is something that is so important to me physically. I mean, all we have is our health, you know, at the end of the day. And you'll know that more and more as you get older, if you're younger listening to this. But
Mm-hmm.
like as a 52-year-old man, I understand how important it is to stay.
Things hurt.
Don't get me started on things hurt. I usually have, I thought I laughed at this morning. I usually have about 3 issues going on at the same time without the mental part. This is physical part. I'll tell you right now.
Well,
Right now,
probably
it's
you and me both, probably.
right
Yeah.
now it's eye, hip, and ear. Eye, hip, and ear.
Yeah,
And
so
I
let's
and
just
I
fill in our friends here. So Rick have this ongoing thing of as we're growing older together, and this is not about like, oh, we're so old. No, but it's just facts, right? Like because we weren't having these problems 10 years ago. As we grow older together, something new starts to hurt.
it happens, and once you accept it, there's so much relief. Like I've learned to accept it, and now I just wake up and be like, that's what's happening now. So
Yeah.
you know, but what I'm being serious,
Yeah.
it's so important that we have the time to put in time at the gym to do strength training, to make sure cardiovascular system is going strong, to get our sleep. Huge one.
Yeah.
Our sleep. This is where your body restores itself. So that's the physical part, but I don't want to forget also the emotional part. Furthering your emotional wellness is huge for me. I won't speak for everyone, but for me, that is a gift that I owe myself. And I always put it at the top of the list on something that I need to quote unquote do all day.
Right. And it's really important that you bring this up because sometimes people feel like, oh, there they go, child free people thinking of themselves. But it's really crazy to me that anyone would even have that thought when we absolutely should be thinking ourselves when it comes to our well being and our mental health. So, and we should also absolutely be spending our time having fun. And we've brought this up on the podcast before that sometimes as child free people, we can very easily get in a rut, right? Because of life's demands or whatever we have to do with work or chores. So it's really important to have fun and to make time for fun and to think about new and fun and exciting things to do. I think so. I am meeting up with a few women to celebrate Cinco de Mayo, and I don't know any of them. I got invited. I'm going to go. So I'm walking into the situation with a whole brand new set of people, and exploring new activities and meeting people is just something that I really like to do and that I like to pursue. And sometimes I'm really super in the mood to do it, and sometimes I'm not. But I guess that goes back to it's kind of nice just to do what we want to do. I feel like I am opening myself up for friendship. And the reason is that our current friends, I think I have like a no fun anxiety for the summer. I think maybe that's what you're witnessing
You said that to me.
because our friends, for various reasons, are going to be doing a lot of traveling and are going to be away for most of the summer. So I think that I'm starting to get a little nervous that I'm not going to have things to do or people to do them with. So I am friend shopping.
Veronica's friend shopping.
You know, I do this every so often. This is something I do every couple of years. And I'm not a person that believes in this whole you've met your friends for life already. Like, what's the point of trying to meet people later on? Because I am constantly meeting amazing, incredible people that I want to be friends with. So that's why whenever I go friend shopping, even when my friends make fun of me, they're like, you're so funny. But I put the intention out into the universe and it starts to happen. I even manifested it the other day when I was kind of cranky and I said to you, I need to find more friends for the summer. And I went out and I met someone and we're getting together this week, but it just sort of naturally starts to happen. But yeah, for me, it's just something, again, it comes with community. And this is why I love our community so much. This is why I love all the women in my program so much. I just find so much satisfaction in being and having a united front and being together. And it doesn't mean that we need to really be busy all the time. It just means that we're all there to support each other and to chat and just to check in. Actually, right before we started this podcast, I told Victoria, one of our community members, that we should hook up later tonight and have a chat because there's some similarities in what we're experiencing with our moms. So it's just about connection with me. And if I feel disconnected from people, I start to get a little like, "Grr." So maybe it's not
Yeah.
so much about fun, but about like feeling disconnected.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. And
Yeah.
you know what? By nature, you're a very curious person. I've
Mhm.
noticed that. And by the way, anyone out there, be on the lookout for Veronica because you want her as a friend because she makes it all about you. She's not looking to be friends with you to be self-serving, like, oh, I want to have fun or I want to feel more connected. You literally meet people and you're like, tell me all about yourself. And I have questions after you're done because you're just always been that way since you were a kid. You're a very curious person. So you're a very good friend, I will say.
I think another thing for me is that, and it's another thing that I have to control because I love to learn, as you know. I
Yep.
need to read every book, listen to every podcast, watch every documentary, and I do it for enjoyment. To me, gathering and information and learning is a big way that I pass my time. And I noticed that about me a few months back because sometimes when I don't have anything scheduled or something to do, the way that I fill my time is by educating myself on a new topic. So that's something that I really enjoy. Something else that I
Do you
definitely
find my lack of education concerning?
that would imply that I don't think you're smart. I actually think you're extremely smart, but we're all smart
In a
in
very
different areas.
just in a very C plus type of way. I'm smart in a very C plus type of way. I'm street smart, kinda.
No, you're very smart. Plus, you're reading like 12,000 books all the time and you have a lot to say and you really pay attention and you're very good at learning things and implementing right away where maybe I tend to overthink things a little bit even more so that they're perfect. So, I do admire that about you. It's nice to see. Another thing that I like to do with my time is group activities. I love going to play pickleball. I am excited to go to Top Golf with people or mini golf. We're going to have game night in our membership community and we have a really good idea for it. So I'm looking forward to that. I like group activities. Group activities make me really happy.
Okay, so fun, friendships, group activities,
Yes, and education.
and education are
Right.
your top priorities.
Exactly. But I did want to read you this because there were so many articles that I found on people asking like what the hell do child-free couples do with their time or people?
Yes.
And this one person says, what do child-free couples do when they're in the house together besides eat, have sex, and watch TV? And it was just such a funny question. And so many people were answering. And someone said, who says they're just hanging around the house being bored? We had enough money and free time to pursue mutual interests like taking day trips to historical sites, going to concerts, plays, or just visiting friends or having dinner parties. We can also discuss world events or even deep thoughts without having noisy little people interrupting. We were also comfortable enough with ourselves and each other that we could each pursue our own hobbies separately in the same house. And we also ate, watched TV, and had sex.
That's great.
So I love this answer, but it was funny just Googling this query because it comes up so often. And there are lists and lists that I found. People say we do our hobbies, we cook meals, we clean up, we play video games. I mean, it just goes on and on. So for those of you who are wondering if child-free people are just sitting around trying to figure out what to do with their time because they're not sitting next to a 8-year-old doing math homework, that's not something to worry about or concern yourself with because there's a million things to do and there's nothing wrong with having free time And if you find yourself to be bored, which some of us can, most people in our community were saying that they're never bored. I tend to set high standards for my fun, like you mentioned. So, but if I do feel like, oh, I'm a little bored today, we didn't plan anything, I do something about it. So it's not
Right.
detrimental. It's not
Well,
this
that
like
falls into that.
longing feeling of loneliness. Yeah.
Yeah, that falls into that spontaneous bucket. You can. You don't have to
Right.
sit around.
Exactly.
And you have 4 takeaways that you'd like to deliver
Yeah. And it
to
was
our
just,
listening audience.
yeah, and it was a combination of research and just thoughts that I had, and I wanted to bring up 4 key points. And number 1 is that because we don't have kids, and if you're in a relationship, you really can, as we've spoken about, dedicate the time to your partner, but you also have the option to split and leave that relationship, which a lot of times people with kids don't have,
Mm,
because how many times do we hear that people stayed together because of the kids?
yeah. Yeah, I never even thought of that one. When you
Yeah.
don't have children, that's part of this decision about leaving maybe a relationship you don't want to be in. It makes it so less complicated.
Yeah. And also, if you're not in a relationship, if you're single, because I've seen this with my single girlfriends, you have the time to dedicate to finding the right partner for yourself without having the added pressure of, when should I introduce my child to this person? Is this person a good parent? Is this person going to fit into my life? So you can really just focus on what you're looking for yourself, so that you find the right partners. So there's different time commitments there as well. The second thing I wanted to bring up as far as our time is that because we have less structure, that may be misconstrued as we're not doing enough. And what I mean by structure is the structure in our schedule, because we're not getting up at 6 a.m. to feed the kids, to drop off the kids at school, to pick them up, to take them to a game, so it's a very rigid schedule when you have children that you have to follow. So the fluidity in our schedules may make people think, especially if you're working from home, obviously understand if you have a 9 to 5, you're sticking to that schedule. But because there's a freedom and it's not as structured, people may think that, well, what can you possibly do? So that could be
Right.
another reason.
Yeah, so that's one of my favorite things, is not having that traditional structure.
Right. Being in that routine, although it may feel good for some people, it's very liberating not to have that and just be able to be spontaneous and see what happens the next day.
And all the driving you got to do in a structured environment, by the way. I mean, just
There
taking
is
the
a lot
kids.
of picking up and dropping off.
I always
That's
feel like there's a lot of driving. There's
actually what my
driving is a
friends
thing.
call me when they're in the car picking up or dropping off, is when I get all the calls from my mom.
Driving is a thing with parents. Speaking of what you do with your time,
Mhm.
I'm going to be very selfish right now.
Yeah.
I think it would be a good idea for some people to take time to
Mhm.
leave a review and rate our podcast and follow it. Because we need to get the
Yes.
message out there. If this
Yes,
makes you
I
feel good,
agree.
tell us.
I agree.
If this makes you feel bad, if you disagree, feel free to tell us.
Yeah, no,
Give us 5
absolutely.
stars or 1 if you really have to. But at the bottom line
We
is
prefer 5.
we prefer 5.
No, thank you so much for bringing this up, because every time we do a podcast, we want to remind people to please go ahead and rate and review us, and we always forget. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, and follow us too, so you get alerts when we do post these podcasts.
Yeah, absolutely. So this next one is embracing the idea that we don't know what this next day, this next hour, this next weekend is going to bring. So rather than feeling trapped by this idea that we have to be doing something all the time, it's really important to remind ourselves that we should be absolutely embracing it. And the last thing is to remove this labeling of kids and no kids, and for each one of us to just know that we are responsible for fulfilling our lives, and we are responsible for the richness in our lives. It's really up to us.
I love that. We're going to end on that note. I think that's perfect. So I guess it's fair to say that, what do child-free people do with their time? A whole hell of a lot.
Yes.
I would say most people do a whole hell of a lot,
Yes.
but we have the option
Do not do
to
anything.
not do anything. And I want to end on that. It
Yes.
has put me in a great mood.
Yeah, me too.
Everyone listening or watching on YouTube, I hope this has put you in a good mood.
Absolutely.
So have a fantastic day or night or morning whenever you're listening to
See
this.
you next time. Bye.
Bye.